In the vast West Australian wheat belt, this is all that remains of the house that my great-grandfather built over 100 years ago. For a while, times were good for Redmond Cumming and his young family. But then the rains didn't come to the west and Redmond was forced off the land. When the Great War came to the world, Redmond and his younger brother Derwis enlisted in the 16th Battalion and sailed off to battle. At around 5 p.m. on the 25th of April 1915, Redmond landed at Anzac Cove, Gallipoli. Within 10 days, most of the 995 men he had trained and travelled with were dead, missing or wounded.
And it was just horrific. Not only were the casualties significant, your chances of survival as a frontline soldier were very slim. It was endless pain. Add to that rodents, lice, cold, wet, mud, and you have a situation where any normal man would be broken.
Redmond Cumming wrote upbeat letters from the front, this one published in WA's Sunday Times.
We are now spelling for a week after 5 weeks in the trenches, and I need not say how glad we all are. Everybody was well tired. Well, I am a great dog nowadays. Got my commission on the 18th of last month. I am supposed to have done some pretty good work on the machine gun.
He also took plenty of photos. These from Gallipoli after the landing. They've survived in an album kept by his granddaughter.
This is his camera, which he took to Gallipoli, which would have been very, very unusual for someone at that time to have a camera like this. And this is the photo album with photos that he took when he was at Gallipoli. This is the naval bombardment at Gallipoli. That one's obviously Gallipoli. And this is an interesting one. This is, he says, first snow Anzac. But also in the back of this photo album, he has signals that were sent down the trenches in Gallipoli. Will you please parade at 10 o'clock at bomb factory with picks and shovels?
Redmond fought at Gallipoli for 3 months until he was brought down by dysentery and taken to hospital in Malta. The photos he captured of the Australians in the time they had to rest and regroup suggested the attrition rates.
A Merry Christmas and New Year. A photo taken of the original 16th Battalion to land at Anzac. 117 left.
Redmond sent this photo back to the wheat belt, showing himself and his brother Derwis with 2 mates. Then followed this letter, published in the local paper.
Our fellows are keeping wonderfully healthy in the trenches, all things considered. And as you say, we have name. I am proud to belong to them and to know we are fighting for the Empire and our women and children. I do not honestly think this affair can last very much longer, but every man who can come should be here. No time for shirkers.
Redmond and Derwis both went on to fight in Europe. Derwis to die in a barrage of German machine gun fire near Villers-Bretonneux, but not before winning a military cross and fighting alongside his brother at Bullecourt.
This photo here is your grandfather, Lawrence Cumming. Now, Redmond had this in his pocket at Bullecourt in 1917, and a bomb went off in front of him, and this photograph actually has shrapnel marks on it. So he was lucky he wasn't killed then.
Redmond was captured by the Germans at Bullecourt. After 2 years as a POW, at war's end he was returned to Australia and given a new small farm at Babbacombe, back in the wheat belt. A letter from the King welcomed him home.
The Queen joins me in welcoming you on your release from the miseries and hardships which you have endured with so much patience and courage.
His family also welcomed him home, and he met his 3rd son for the first time, my grandfather, who was born while he was away at war. Redmond's story would end here. On a dusty road near Babbacombe, he was found dead in his Model T Ford. It appeared that he had taken his own life. some locals making the discovery.
Mrs. Arthur Walton and Ali came and reported motorcar with supposed dead man in it near front gate. Tom and I went to see and found Cumming had poisoned himself.
Though no police records or coroner's reports survive, this note was left on his service record. Poisoning, self-administered, whilst of unsound mind, indirectly due to war service.
These men were totally ruined for the rest of their life, and a lot of them actually took their life.
The cost of war is sadly not only dollar cost. Once a war has started, there are costs that the community must bear, and to a large degree that's broken people.
And now you've got machine gun teams.
These days, Moose and Dogs run a support group to help soldiers who've returned from conflicts and live with what we now know as post-traumatic stress disorder.
But I think soldiers, generally soldiers, sailors, airmen, anyone who's served overseas, any returned service person is not clearly understood. And it's just the way it is. And if you were to go back to the days of the Trojans or the Romans or, you know, even back to the Tartars and all of those, anybody who's been in human conflict has been wounded, and not always physically.
My great-grandfather Redmond's story and the photos he took when he took this brownie to war hold particular interest to me, as I also travelled to war with a camera as the ABC Middle East Bureau's cameraman. Now I'm on my way to Gallipoli to help cover the 100th anniversary of the landing for the ABC, so we can try to understand what it was like for men like Redmond Cumming, my great-grandfather, to fight in a distant war and then resume the civilian life back home.